How was the water, Susie?
Now this is when you have to do Photoshop. So you can take a picture of me with this, and then you Photoshop the next phase, which is me at 5 years old.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Each one?
It tastes better than that one we tried in Colombia with that sulfur
Yeah.
water.
How does it taste?
Sulfuric.
Sulfuric?
A little bit.
Huh. So it might be coming from some kind of well underground.
That's a hot one that's like hot.
Wait till you see how bad I did. All right, well, we are going to demonstrate the cannon. We're going to fire a cannon for you. And I'm also going to tell you about something else that they used here you might not know about. Crossbows. Crossbows hadn't been used in warfare for about 90 years before Pedro Menendez comes over here. All the armies of Europe in those days used the type of gun that we demonstrate over there. That was modern technology, and this was obsolete. But Pedro Menendez brings 30 with him when he comes here as backup weapons for those guns, because those guns didn't work very well when it's raining. It also took a really long time to load one. It took about 45 seconds to load it. It's a long time in between shots to fight an enemy. So he brings these, and he basically, as a backup weapon, because he had a lot of civilians, not just soldiers carrying the gun, but he had a lot of civilians, and they could be taught how to use this thing in a pinch, in case of an emergency. They have some kind of weapon. People could be trained pretty easily. Now this one, it looks a lot like what he brought, but it's really only about 40 or 50 pounds of draw weight. It's not very strong. It's okay for shooting targets close up, but the war bows he brought, well, they'd be typically somewhere between 130 to 200 pounds of draw weight. So they're a lot stronger. And you sometimes have to use tools to help pull the string back. Set it because it's so hard to pull it back very strongly. Now the real history of crossbow really goes back about 2,500 years, because these were first developed in China 2,500 years ago. They eventually made their way across Asia, and then up through the Mediterranean Sea area, and then up into what is today here. So for 2,000 years at least, Pedro Menendez ever came here, these things were already around, and everybody knows they were and how they work. Simple as far as what makes a crossbow. Well, you have a wooden stock. If you miss the first shot because it doesn't make any noise, the animal wouldn't hear it, wouldn't run away, you might get a second shot. That's why these are pretty bad. So they're fast to load and shoot, and they work in any kind of weather. That's something that Big Gun didn't do. It didn't work in the rain.
My name's Geronimo. Hi. And we're going to be talking cannons. Yay! Alright, let's try this again. Yay! No, that means we have to beat them.
Oh, no, that's not
Alright, where to begin? Okay, 1565, Pedro Menendez came here. And when he got here, he brought with him a bunch of cannons, very similar to the ones before you. Now this one here in particular is known as a Spanish long 9 cast iron muzzle loaded cannon. Say that 5 times real fast. I'm kidding, please don't. Thank you. Now during this time, this was considered to be state-of-the-art weaponry. Now the loading process, it's a bit tedious, but I say. So what you do, you take your black powder. Then you pour it down the muzzle. Next, you grab the Spanish moss for wadding, and with a ramrod, you pack it in really, really tight. Now once that's done, take the cannonball, roll it in. Fire. Now to reload, you gotta get this here sponge. You dip it in a bucket of water, then you ram it down the barrel to extinguish any lit embers left behind. Because if you don't do this,
Oh no!
well, let's just say your next reload will be a nice way to make things get real loud and real quiet all at once. You know what I mean? Now once that's done, take the black powder, repeat the process, the rest is history. This cannon can fire very accurately a 9-pound cannonball at a range of 2 miles once every 2 minutes. Not bad, right? Right!
Right.
That's right! Unlike our cannon, see, our cannon only has a range of about a mile, which is roughly from here to the Bridge of Lions. Now the problem there is that this range is not very accurate. It's more effective with a half-mile range. Now the question is, will we hit that bridge?
No.
Yeah, we will. Where? I don't know. And folks, that's known as a bombardera. The bombardera is a breech-charged, muzzle-loaded 6-pounder cannon. And all this means is our cannon is old, very old, built back in the 1300s. And it comes in two parts. You have the barrel of the cannon, which is built like a tube, open at both ends. And then you have the powder mug, which is that cylinder you see right before it. That powder mug is known as a centrifugal. It holds the powder and the wadding. You take that, you stick it in the breech of the cannon, put a breech block behind it, hold it in place. You take the cannonball, roll it in, it's ready to fire. A crew of 5 men with 4 to 5 centrifugal per cannon can fire anywhere from 2 to 3 rounds 1 minute, which is much better than once every 2 minutes, right? That's right. Now picture this: 20 cannons along the bay front right here, all aiming in one direction, all firing 2 to 3 rounds 1 minute. You're looking at a volley of anywhere from 40 to 60, maybe even 80 cannonballs 1 minute. Now in the 16th century, this would be considered rapid fire. Impressive, right? Yeah. Want to see what's not so impressive? Yeah. Too bad, I'm going to show you anyway. This cannonball. Watch this, ready? Ready? The low tide is just a sandbar blocking off the enemy. If the enemy were to attack, they would have to leave the big ships with the big guns 3 miles off our coast. And that puts us plenty of distance away from them. Now they have to load up the ship with shore boats like a chalupa. 458 years ago, that main front before you was completely clear of all vegetation. Where we're at right now, we would get a clear view of Anastasia Island and the enemy approaching. Now once the enemy's within range, all 20 cannons will begin to unload at the same time. This 6-pound cannonball can travel at speeds anywhere from 400 to 500 miles an hour. Now, if you're one of the lucky few who survived the initial impact of this cannonball and all the splinting shrapnel that follows, well, guess what? Your boat is now sinking. And as a soldado prepared for battle, you're more than likely wearing armor, heavy armor. And guess what? Your boat is still sinking. Anybody want to guess what's now an Olympic sport in the 16th century? Women! Which is bad news for them, good news for us. Right? That's right. Now the amount of gunpowder used to fire a 6-pound cannonball is roughly 2 pounds. Guess what we're not doing today? Using 2 pounds. Duh. Yeah, if they were to do that, y'all wouldn't be able to hear anything for the rest of the day. Us, about a week. Then again, I am married. Maybe that's a good thing, huh?
We're not that bad.
Back on it. Now, guess what else we're not doing? Firing the cannonball. I know. Man! Well, hear me out. There's 2 good reasons why. 1, it's the only cannonball we have. And 2, well, let's just say the neighbors across the bay and the Coast Guard, they have no sense of humor. And nobody wants to go to jail dressed this way. Not again. I know. Don't ask. I'm gonna give Greek math. My first one's listo. That means, are you ready? My second one is para España. That means for Spain. My final command is fuego. And that means fire. Right. This would be a good time to cover them ears. If you got sensitive hearing, or if you don't like loud noises.
I know.
Para España. Fuego.
Oh!
I think maybe he had a heart attack.
Did y'all hear that? What?
Do it again.
Okay, in about an hour. Alright folks, we all just heard there's only 2 ounces of black powder compared to 2 pounds. But this doesn't include our demonstration with the cannons. We sure hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. I know we just had a blast.
In the beginning, the earth was without form and void. As eons of time passed, our world gradually assumed its present appearance, and the continents emerged from the dark waters. Slowly, the Western Hemisphere assumed its present form. Plants, animals, and eventually man appeared on the earth. From its primitive beginning, humanity slowly advanced in civilization and culture. Some 3,000 years ago, on these very grounds, the site of an ancient Indian village, man had developed a civilization, which is shown by archaeological remains. Then, suddenly, more than 4 centuries ago, a new culture arrived from Europe. The epical events which took place in rapid succession after Columbus discovered the New World marked the beginning of radical changes that took place on both sides of the Atlantic. The discovery of new lands to the west widened the horizon of the Old World. Unlimited interest was aroused by this new view across the sea. The magnitude of the discovery was soon realized, and the name New World was applied in general to these new lands. Through the ensuing years of exploration, settlement, expansion, development, and finally independence, the 2 continents, North and South America, have become an integral part of international life, and they are still generally referred to as the New World. This globe represents our world. It rotates on its axis exactly as does the Earth. It is 56 feet in circumference and equal in height to a 2-story building. Although surrounded by total darkness, one may stand in the rotunda and by means of black light have the feeling of seeing the Earth from a great distance, a multicolored planet radiating its own subdued brilliance as it slowly rotates in the darkness of outer space. This globe portrays the epical events in the discovery, exploration, and colonization by Spaniards in the Western Hemisphere during the 16th century. By means of control lights, I now call your attention to the course sailed by Columbus in 1492, when he landed on San Salvador and went on to discover other islands. The second voyage of great importance was that of Columbus in 1493, when he was accompanied by Juan Ponce de Leon. The landing was made on Hispaniola. From this island, Ponce de Leon went on to the island of Puerto Rico to found a settlement and become governor of the island. Another famous voyage in American history was that of Ponce de Leon in 1513, when he anchored his 3 ships within sight of present St. Augustine Harbor on April the 2nd and named his discovery La Florida. On April the 3rd, he landed and took possession for Spain. This was the first formal possession taken of any part of what is now the continental United States. The fourth epical event in the Western Hemisphere was the discovery in 1513 of the Pacific Ocean by Vasco Muñoz de Balboa. The voyages of Columbus led to the colonization of the West Indies, Cuba, the northern coast of South America, Central America, and Mexico. The voyage of Ponce de Leon resulted in the discovery of the Gulf Stream, led to the explorations by de Ayllon, Cabeza de Vaca, de Soto, and Coronada, and later to the founding in 1565 of St. Augustine by Pedro Menendez de Avilés as the capital of Spain's continent of Florida, which extended from the River of Palms, Rio Grande, to Labrador, and embraced all the area of the present continental United States of America. The discovery of the Pacific Ocean by Balboa led to the conquest of Peru by Pizarro, the settlement of Chile and Ecuador, the exploration of the Amazon River and the coast of California. The small numbered circles on the globe show the location of some 100 of the settlements made and of the 3 23 universities founded in the Western Hemisphere prior to 1599, and are numbered in the chronological order of their establishment. The 3 universities founded were the University of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic in 1538, the University of San Marcos in Peru in 1551, and the National University of Mexico in 1551, respectively. It was not until the beginning of the 17th century that England, Holland, and other European nations began to found New World colonies in Spanish territory. You have just witnessed the unique historical highlights of the phenomenal discovery, exploration, and establishment of the first permanent European settlements, and the development of civilization during the first century of European progress in the New World. You have followed the routes of conquest and expansion. You have seen how the centers of Spanish and Portuguese civilization were established chronologically during this greatest of centuries, which witnessed so many world-shaking events. Today, the 21 countries civilized by Europeans in the New World have provided the Old World with a continuing cultural stimulus of ideas and ideals. So, Florida, which is synonymous with Fountain of Youth, and once embraced all of North America from the Rio Grande to the frigid lands of Labrador, was dedicated to peace, and the name Florida changed to the United States of America.